Hi, I'm Miss Thornton. I'm the Key Stage 4 Maths Coordinator, and this is a handy guide of how to prepare for GCSE Maths this year. I wanted to start with an overview of how GCSE Maths is assessed. There are 3 different papers. Paper 1 is non-calculator, Paper 2 and Paper 3 have a calculator allowed. But the topics spread across all 3 papers. There's no set topics or units for paper 1. The whole content of the curriculum could come up in any paper, and this can lead to students struggling of where to even begin. The best way to revise maths is to do maths. There are methods and facts and notations you need to learn, but having kind of coloured flashcards, copying pages and notes is not a really good use of your time. There's already many videos on the internet that exist. There's printouts, there's your own notes from class. So the best way to revise for your maths is by completing questions, completing the past papers, working out the textbook. Some of the questions repeat year on year. There's only so many ways to ask about a discounted dress or ask about an angle for a ladder in a wall. These come up time and time again. So the more questions that you practice, the more you prepare and get used to what's going to be on an exam. Doing maths in practice sounds like a great idea, but what can you do when you need help? Especially if you're at home and you can't immediately get access to a teacher. Well, one point of call can be videos. There are so many websites out there, which I will detail later in the slides, that offer videos, but we need to know how to use them. Videos are not just to be watched. They're not a passive activity. When you're completing the videos, you also need to complete the maths. So if a question comes on the screen, pause the video, attempt the working, do what you can, and then continue the video to see if you got it right. Copying pages from the video, again, isn't always going to be useful. Copying out examples, that video will always be there. So doing the maths, doing your workings first is the best way to get the most out of the videos. So where can we find these videos? One website that students probably know off by heart by now is Corbett Maths. Corbett Maths has content created by a maths teacher and is listed by topic. So if you go onto the website and then search for a particular topic, this is the exact screen you will see. So there's always going to be a video, a set of practice questions which look like exam questions, and then a textbook exercise. The textbook exercise tends to be practicing the skill. The practice questions are maybe slightly harder and tend to have more problem solving and reasoning. My Maths is another infamous website that students are probably very aware of. It contains whole lessons and online homework for students to practice. This does need a login when you go to the main page. The username is Fairfield High with no space, and the password is Johnson, all lowercase. When you get into the website, all of the topics are broken down into sections. So example on the screen, there's geometry. That topic is then broken down even further. So angle properties, each one of those has a lesson to click through and take part in and an online homework to complete. Students also use GCSE Pod. I know this can be accessed for lots of other subjects in Fairfields, not only maths. This contains help videos and full lessons. Another great resource is Oak National Academy. This is a website that contains lots of videos broken by tier into foundation and higher, which have been created by maths teachers to cover really small bits of quite big topics. So now we know where to get help. What should the studying look like? Well, each week, every single year 11 student has a past paper to complete. The past papers are 1 hour and a half, but most of the week students start these papers in class. They can take them home and they do not need to be completed as an exam. Students can look up advice in videos, use the textbook, work with their friends, but the idea is by the deadline the whole paper will be complete. As I said previously, the more exam questions students see, the easier the next paper should become. So even if the first paper feels really difficult, hopefully in a few papers' time they should start to see the progress and start to see their efforts paying off. As PPs are looming, we understand that this is probably the main focus of their studies. All students have been given topic lists and students need to check if they are studying for the higher or foundation tier. Every topic that will be assessed is on that list, and students can use any of the resources listed plus textbooks and their teachers to get advice on any topics that they're not yet sure of. Teachers will be preparing for these PPEs in class time, and many teachers are sharing their long-term plan so students know what to study in school and what they need to study independently at home. There may be content in lessons that isn't on this next PPE, but that's because we need to balance preparing for exams and covering all the content still to do. If students have any questions about the topic list or PPEs, they need to make sure they ask their maths teacher. Another way to be prepared for PPEs is to have all the equipment that you need. Students need a pen, a pencil, a compass, protractor, and a ruler. And for paper 2 and paper 3, they need a calculator. It's really important that students have their own equipment because they know how to use it. If they get given a protractor in an exam that's different to anyone they've seen before, this could hinder their progress in that test. So having their own equipment, make sure they know how to use it, make sure they know that it works and they know where it is. Being prepared with all of these things helps with the stress on the day. So students are not going through this alone. There's many different ways that they can get help from a teacher. They can always drop an email. They may not get an immediate response, but most teachers respond within 24 hours. Students can post a question on their team, and if the teacher can't answer, sometimes some of their peers can. There is also Year 11 study rooms open every single lunchtime. On Wednesdays and Fridays, these are staffed by maths teachers, so I would save all your maths questions for them. There's also group interventions running after school. Many students have received an invite, but if a student is really keen to come and do some extra work, I'm sure we'd find space. So I hope this has been useful. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me, Miss Thornton, or Mr. Gerard, who's the Director of Maths, and I'm sure we'll be able to help. Good luck studying.